What's up, guys? It's John here, National Sports Entertainment. And typically, as you probably know, I just screen share my little recorder and just go over the games that we got going on. But I'm a little pressed for time, so I thought this would be a little quicker. And yeah, I'm in Vegas if you couldn't tell, like I said. And I wanted to do WrestleMania props, and I'll still put them out there. I do have basically a few matches that I think are guarantees as far as, if you want to pick up some money. And the thing is, I came out here and I was like, this will be simple. I'm just going to go downstairs and play some bets. And I was very surprised to hear that they're not taking WrestleMania bets here. And I really thought the concierge was mistaken. So I'm like, I know how this goes. Just get somebody else, that knows what they're talking about, and let me know when they're here. So some guy comes out and he's like, yeah, we don't do WrestleMania bets here. He said basically they have done it before, but I guess because it's actually in Vegas, it violates some kind of, I don't know, integrity law or some shit like that. But anyway, I do find a lot of the matches interesting, and I think a couple of them are going to be just gimmies, if I'm being quite honest. So I'm going to go through them, but I wanted to cover the NBA games for tonight. Not much has changed. The only thing that's changed is tomorrow. It's going to be Heat Cavs versus Hawks Cavs, which to me made no difference anyway because the Heat and Hawks are very expendable. They're going to get eliminated immediately. So it really didn't matter who won that play-in game. As we figured, the Grizzlies did go ahead and beat the Mavericks because now we have SGA versus Ja, which is a much better matchup. So I'll be going into all that, but there are games today. There's four of them, and we might be a little late on the first one because it starts in like an hour and a half. But we got Pacers Bucks. I can honestly see that one going either way, to be quite honest, just because, especially in 7 game series, it really just comes down to where the money's at. If I had to, just because the spread looked a little heavy, I'd probably lean Bucks cover in this game. Just lean there. But it's not one that I love. One that I do like a lot, we got the Knicks playing the Pistons today. And I think the Pistons are definitely going to win that game. I don't think the Pistons are going to lose. I think Cade Cunningham coming out having himself a day definitely makes it where it's going to be a much better rivalry between Brunson and Cade and the Knicks and the Pistons in general. So I love the Pistons. I'm actually, before I head out to the convention center, I'm going down there today for WWE World. I'm going to be putting a little bit on the Pistons, maybe in a parlay. I have a good feeling they're going to do pretty well. So I like that one a lot. And the other one I like is I do like the Clippers. That's a very thin spread, and I do get that the Nuggets are weaker than before. The Clippers are looking pretty good, but you still have the Nuggets at home. Of all teams, the Nuggets are usually, expected to get a few extra points at home versus other teams like the Clippers or the Lakers even. So I do think that we're going to see probably Clippers take game 1, and then Nuggets even it up game 2, and then it becomes like a 7 game series. So yeah, of those games, I like them a lot. Like I said, Lakers play later on tonight. They're 4.5 point favorites. I do think the Lakers are going to win game 7 or win in 7, but maybe 6. But I also don't think that that means they're definitely going to win tonight. We might see some growing pains, things like that. It really feels like a win, no cover. That's kind of where I'd go. I'd probably go with Lakers money line. Honestly, I think a Lakers money line parlayed with either the Knicks, Lakers money line parlayed either with the Pistons or Lakers money line parlayed with the Clippers would probably be a good bet just because I think Vegas is going to be on the other side. Now, speaking of that, we have tonight and tomorrow WrestleMania. So for those of you that have online accounts, obviously, you can bet on WrestleMania. I'm not going to go through like every single matchup, with a fine-tooth comb. What I'm going to do is just basically go into why I think some are gimmies. I'm going to open up with the most obvious one. This is my favorite bet in a while. It's Tiffany Stratton. She's fighting Charlotte Flair. I think it's tonight. It might be tomorrow. Doesn't really matter. But I don't think she loses. There's 2 reasons. And I use the same logic for football. We have Tiffany Stratton, who's an up-and-comer, she's getting a push, and people online, fans, all these, people that go nuts over the finishes instead of just enjoying the show, they're convinced that Charlotte's gonna, bury her, take her belt, and ruin her run. And then you look at the Vegas odds, and where fans believe who's gonna win, 70-80% of the money's on Charlotte. So for me, if you look at a Vegas perspective or a booking perspective, it makes sense that Tiffany wins that match. So of all the matches, my favorite one's Tiffany, just because I really think she's going to win. Some of the other ones, they're not easy to call, I'll be honest. And I'll go into them, but they're not going to be as, with as much confidence as with Tiffany. The other one that I have some confidence in, but not a lot, I do think Seth is going to win this triple threat match. It makes the most sense. They have this Romans, CM Punk thing going on, and it just makes sense. Seth's kind of like this dark horse in the match. He also hasn't got like an important win in quite a long time. He's lost like for a while now. Last several WrestleManias, he's taken losses. So I think it makes the most sense that you give Seth a win. For the wrestling fans, I think if you're following the story, I think Paul Heyman's going to wind up joining Seth. And yeah, I think Seth's going to wind up winning this match. Possibly even aligning himself with The Rock and John Cena. Just something like that I think might happen. For the girls' triple threat match, Rhea Ripley, Bianca, and Io Sky, I like Io to win. I think she keeps her belt. They're making it so obvious that Bianca and Rhea are trying to kill each other. So you have 3 people fighting, 2 are trying to kill each other. Kind of stands to reason that the one that is just trying to win the match actually wins and keeps her belt. So I love Io Sky in that regard. I think Io is going to retain her belt. Some of these odds aren't as great as others. The reason I like Tiffany so much is she's getting like plus 120. So a lot of these other matchups, they're heavy favorites. So it's not that obvious. Now Seth's actually like plus 180, 200, so that's a good one. And Io Sky's, I think, a favorite. So she's not going to get as good odds as like Seth or Tiffany. But I like those 3 matches. If you're somehow able to parlay, that's great. I don't think wrestling allows parlays. The other one that I like a lot, obviously, it's going to be the first match. So I'll be seeing that in like 6 hours or something, a little longer than that, but like, 8 hours. But it's going to be Jey Uso versus Gunther. And Vegas has Jey as a big favorite. I think he wins. You open the show to this guy yeeting to 70,000 people. He comes out, he wins. It gets people off on a nice note. And I just think if someone's going to win, beat Gunther here, it's going to be Jey. So not worth betting because it's like $100 is going to win you 15. So, I mean, if you're going to bet it, you might as well bet on Gunther. But I wouldn't bet this match. I think Jay's going to win. I'm pretty confident. Some of the other ones I'm not sure of. They're still making matches. But the main ones, obviously, we got Cody and Cena. And that's like, we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I think Fatu wins. And the reason being, I think they're going to move LA Knight now pretty shortly into the main event picture. So he's got to drop the United States Championship for that to happen. I don't think Fatu's losing. You could have some kind of shenanigans where Knight retains because of like a count out or something, but I think it's going to be pretty simple. Vegas likes Fatu. I think Fatu wins and takes the belt, and then he can have a feud with Solo, saying, hey, I got gold, you don't. So they can have a power struggle in that Bloodline faction. And yeah, there's a few other matches, just none that are jumping out to me. We got the tag team matches, stuff like that. I really don't follow them too much. As far as the Fatal 4-Way, I like Penta a lot because, again, you have 2 guys in the same faction, and then you have Penta, and then you have Braun Breaker. So we know Braun's not going to win because they made it a Fatal 4-Way. They don't want Braun to get pinned. They don't want him to look weak. So how do you have him drop the belt? You just have him, obviously, in a Fatal 4-Way. One guy can pin another guy. Braun Breaker doesn't have to be involved, and he can lose his belt without being weakened. And just like LA Knight, it might move him up to the title picture, the main, the World Heavyweight Championship picture. So that leaves Dominic, Finn, who are in the same faction, and Penta. So again, I think Dominic, Finn wind up knocking each other out, screwing each other over. Penta gets the win. And we're getting plus odds on that one. Dominic Mysterio is actually the biggest favorite, which I can see why, but I like Penta. And then the other 2 the other 2 main matches that I can think of are one that might be canceled, but it's Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable, who's basically just a wrestler who's now pretending that he's a luchador. So, it's pretty funny. So his new name's El Americano Grande, and he's pretending he's been a luchador for like decades. Honestly, I think he wins, even though Rey's a favorite. Just because, again, they're trying to get this new character over with Gable. And I think the best way to do that is you beat the best luchador of all time. Maybe he gets some help from Dominic. Probably not. He probably just wins. But I think it makes much more sense for him to win than Rey in this case. Rey doesn't need the win. It would really help Chad. And again, he's getting plus odds. So I like that one. Not as much as Tiffany or probably even Seth, but I do like it a lot. And then finally, there's other matches, like I said, but these are like the main ones that I wanted to cover. The main ones Vegas are taken. And the main ones where you can actually look at the story and have an idea of who makes sense. We got, of course, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, which can go either way, because if Cody wins, then Cena can spend the year desperately trying to get his 17th championship, which would break the WWE record, of course, Ric Flair's record of 16. And he's a bad guy, so if he wins, now all of a sudden you have a plethora of guys who can come after him. LA Knight, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, a lot of full circle stories. So I could definitely see that. On the other hand, if Cena just... So yeah, if he wins, he has all these guys he could fight going forward. It's a little fresher. If Cena loses, we could see him desperately trying to beat Jay, right? Get his belt. Maybe go over to TNA, try and beat Joe Hendry. And we can kind of see him get more evil as the year goes on, as he tries to get that 17th championship. So I can see it going either way. Vegas likes Cena, I'll be honest. And the crowd's been really back and forth. So it's not like a lot of times they'll hear how the crowd's going and they will change their booking to make it where the fans won't be too upset. And I'm ever so slightly leaning Cody. Only because, A, I really feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming out. I feel like there's no doubt he's going to make an appearance. But I also understand he can make an appearance, help Cody, but then another guy can come out and Cody could still lose. And I'm thinking that might happen. And again, there's probably more stories long term with Cena winning here than Cody. It would be, I think, the safer bet and possibly bring in more money. But I just have this feeling Cody's going to do it because I think they've done a good job with all these little teases they do of making people think Cena's definitely winning now. So now people are like almost quite, quote, convinced Cena's going to win. I think it makes sense that you have Cody win the match. And because I think Austin's coming back, obviously that would it'd be kind of anticlimactic if Austin came out and, helped Cody, but Cody lost anyway. It still can happen. But I'm just going with the kind of keep it stupid simple formula, and I got Cody winning the match. So that's tomorrow. We got a few today. Of all of them, again, Tiffany Stratton I absolutely love, so I would definitely play some money on her. I just don't see her losing this matchup. I think she definitely beats Charlotte. And yeah, that's about it. I'm headed down to the convention center now. They're doing some cool stuff over there. I thought about putting it on the channel, but I'm like, well, this is about betting and stuff. I don't think people give a shit about me walking around the strip. But there has been some cool stuff that I thought people would have liked to see. But yeah, I can always do something later. But yeah, it's been a fun time. Have a couple fun days left still. And I just wanted to get out a couple NBA plays I like for today. And officially get out my Mania predictions. Again, I think Tiffany, Seth, I think a lot of these, Penta, I think you have really good plus odds and a good chance that they all win, to be quite honest. Logan Paul, AJ, I forgot about that one. I don't even know the Vegas odds on that. I'm going to say Logan Paul wins, simply because he lost to Seth at the one pay-per-view. He lost to Randy. He lost to LA Knight. So even though, again, he's a younger guy that isn't there all the time, he has such heat, and heat just means, the fans hate him, but in a good way. It's like you hate Darth Vader, but in a good way. He definitely, I think, would benefit a lot from winning this match. And just like Seth Rollins, he hasn't got a lot of wins, so you got to give him some credibility. So I think Logan Paul is actually going to beat AJ. Haven't looked at the Vegas odds, but I do like Logan to win. So yeah, Pistons in the NBA. I think they get the upset today. And I think the Clippers look pretty suspicious. So I like the Clippers over there. And then as far as the other two, like I said, the first game we got going on, the Bucks, that can go either way. But I guess I would lean the Bucks cover on that one. And the Lakers won. They're 4.5-point favorites. I think we might see some hiccups. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Ant put on a performance. I like the T-Wolves to cover that game. I still think the Lakers win the series. But for the cover, I like the T-Wolves with the 4.5. So yeah, between wrestling and basketball, hopefully you'll have some action tonight. And I'll definitely keep in touch as far as the basketball playoffs proceed. So take care and happy earnings.